about it. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. Today's program, we're talking about ideas, not just an idea esoterically, but I'm going to interview somebody who has taken an idea that she's had in her head and actually made it happen, actually put a product on a shelf, figuratively speaking. So, since I'm all about ideas and helping people make ideas a reality, I thought this is perfect. And so the topic today is called From Idea to Market, a little pop of color. And you'll see why I called it that. So my guest today is Amy Wert. And Amy Wert has started a company called A Little Pop of Color. I met Amy at the Olney Entrepreneurs Club, which is in Olney, Maryland. We're a bunch of small business owners who come once a month and commiserate about how to make our businesses more effective and how to take an idea and make it a reality. And so I met Amy and I saw the product that she developed and I was like, oh, you've got to be on my show. So that's my intro to Amy, because part of what we're going to talk about is how she got to this point. So Amy, welcome. Think about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. And I know people constantly talk about having ideas. I've got an idea. I want to start a business or I want to develop a product. And I thought, you have actually done it.
Yep, I have. And actually, I'm not that person. I'm not that guy that always has been wanting to start my own business or had a bunch of ideas that just didn't know what to do with. I'm actually a social worker.
Okay.
By profession, started my life as a social worker and worked in that profession for several years. And then in 2000, we decided that I would stay home with my two children. My son was 6 at the time and had been diagnosed with autism, and that worked for our family. So I came out of the workforce, and then in 2003, started as a consultant with a well-established direct sales company, really just to get out of the house. No, nothing more than that, than to bring some money into the home. But the skills that I learned from that business kind of set me up to be ready to start my own business if the opportunity presented itself, which it did. And in 2011, I started A Little Pop of Color. Okay.
Yeah, but you didn't just, I just want to start a little pop of color. Kind of what was the journey from the idea or from what you'd been doing to actually developing a product?
Well, the idea actually came to me in the summer of 2009. Purely out of a need that I had. It was a hot, muggy Washington, D.C. day, and I had this little clingy jersey sundress that I wanted to wear, and it was just a little too low cut to be appropriate, and as a lot of women have that problem, I had to wear a cami under it. And not only did the thought of wearing a second layer on that kind of a day not really appeal to me, the length of the cami that I had hit me in such a place that was not exactly attractive, and when I tried to adjust it right so that lines wouldn't show, I got bunching around my waist, and it was very frustrating, and I thought to myself, gosh, I just need a piece of fabric to cover what needs to be covered, and went online. Actually, my first thought was, let me go online and see if it exists, and I'll just buy it. And when I looked, there was a couple of companies that sold them, and they just were, well, way overpriced, in my opinion, for a half a shirt. And I thought to myself, I could make that myself for cheaper. And they were pretty boring colors, black, white, tan. And I thought, well, and I could make them fun. Why not? Why not have a little fun? I like shows about fashion makeovers and home makeovers. And experts in both those fields are always talking about having a little pop of color in your wardrobe or a little pop of color in your decorating. And I thought, and the idea kind of just came to me as a brainstorm, a little pop of color.
Cool. Now, for the guys out there, what's a cami?
A cami is just usually a spaghetti strap little shirt. It's very fitted that women can wear underneath lower cut shirts or things that if you're a teacher or a physical therapist or in a profession where you're bending over a lot, some of us like to keep our assets covered, and we need to have a cami on.
Okay.
So.
And the camisole, which is the long word for it, I've seen them. They're like undershirts in I won't mention stores, but in department stores, and so you're right. They're totally unattractive.
Right. And a lot of people just wear them for working out, and it was too hot. I just wanted something that didn't give me the bulk, You know,
Cool.
we don't, a lot of us don't want any more bulk than we have to have.
And still, though, look appealing and still
Right,
kind of
right.
catch people's eyes and all that.
So the problem then after that was the fact that I didn't sew.
You didn't sew.
I didn't know how to sew a stitch. I could maybe get a button on if it came off, but did not own a sewing machine,
Oh,
and
great.
had not sewn since 7th grade home ec class, and so that started that journey.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's why the idea came in 2009, and the business didn't come until 2011.
Okay, so I'll probably flip a little bit back and forth because I really want to share with viewers the journey of people to wrap their heads
Right,
around.
right.
I've got an idea and I have no idea how to implement that idea. To
Right,
not keep using that word over and over again. You just added a layer, no pun intended, to that situation by you didn't even know how to sew.
Right.
So how do you even figure it out?
I'm kind of blessed with the inability to know my own limits. So first thing I did really was I had to decide what did I want this thing to look like. So before I even got to the sewing part, I thought, what do I want? Just want a piece of fabric here. So my first initial thought was, okay, tube top.
Okay.
Well, any woman that has worn a tube top or a strapless dress or a strapless bra knows that you're constantly pulling it up because
Yes.
it's always falling down. Didn't want to deal with that. So then I thought, well, why don't I just take the cami that I have and cut off the bottom?
Okay.
And that would give me a half a cami. Then I realized the problem with that would be once I got my shirt on, it would be riding up all the time and I'd be pulling it down. So didn't want that. So I realized, okay, this is going to have straps. And I thought, well, why can't I make them clear in this way if, you don't have a double strap issue going on if you've got a
with bra
strap
and-
dress or
yeah.
something. So knew it would have to have straps. And I thought, well, I can put elastic around the bottom, and that would keep it from riding up. So then we're in place and we're where we belong. And then I thought, well, I can make fun colors.
Okay.
But then I got to the fact, well, if I have a light-colored shirt on and I have a dark cami or one with a pattern on it, as I walk away,
You'll see.
I'm
the
going to have
pattern.
a strip of red or
Okay.
cheetah print or something across my back. That's going to look kind of weird.
Okay.
So, let me make the backs nude. If they're a nude color, then you have your little pop of color in the front, and you walk away, and there's nothing that can be seen. So you got invisible straps, you've got a nude back, so all you have is your little pop of color.
Okay, now I'm thinking, okay, nude. The last time I tried a nude Band-Aid
Right.
on my dark finger, it shined.
Well, that was the next thing I came up with. Again, it's kind of one idea really led into another.
Okay.
Needed coverage, and then I get to the nude backs, and then I realize not everybody is my color.
Okay.
So I bought darker fabric for women of color so that their nude, which I know is different than my nude, which is different than my best friend's nude.
That's true.
And because when I had my brainstorm for the company, I really saw the whole website, and it was really a build your own cami type of thing.
Wow.
Do you want a V-neck or a scoop neck? Do you want a light back or a dark back? Do you want clear straps or white straps? And kind of a build your own thing. And so that was just one of the options that I kind of thought about too.
So you had that
reach
vision.
everybody.
You had the vision of the product. You even had a vision of the marketing,
Right,
it being the
right.
website, which is far more than just a website with still pictures, which is a catalog kind of a website. All of this still not quite knowing how it's going to happen.
Right.
Oh, man.
Right.
Okay.
So then I get to the point, okay, I have this idea, and I've got a picture of what I want. I've got, that part figured out, and then I need to figure out how I'm going to actually get this done. Because I kind of went really fast from I'm going to make this for me to I could make this for a lot of people. And I realized that if I hired somebody to sew this, then all the money that I'd be having to put out to start this business would really just be going to paying somebody else. And it was just financially something I knew that I would really need to do to start out with. So I really called my daughter's home ec teacher. She happened to be in sewing class at the time in middle school, and I called her and said, will you teach me how to sew? So she actually started, my very first lesson was taking a sewing machine with no thread in it and going down a piece of notebook paper learning how to sew a straight line.
Right, that brings back my Girl Scout sewing badge.
So that's where we started.
Oh my gosh.
And that didn't work out, and I got another local woman to teach me, but she was self-taught as well and didn't really, I really just wanted to learn how to sew this cami. I didn't want to learn how to sew.
You didn't want
in
buttons?
General.
You just wanted
buttons. I didn't want anything. I just want to make this cami. And what I figured out was I needed 2 different kinds of machines, and I bought them and just sat and bought some fabric and just figured it out.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I learn best. Not everybody does that. But that I needed to figure out how to work the machine. I needed to figure out how to, you know, sew a straight line, and figured out real fast that the camis were not going to have a scoop neck, because when you can't sew a straight line, sewing in a straight semicircle is even more difficult. So I figured they go straight across now, and that works fine for me.
Oh, man, this is great. So you didn't get all bogged down with, I mean, I know a lot of people, and sometimes I do, I have an idea, and I get just so bogged down with the details of, well, I could do this, well, I could do that, and oh my gosh, but then this, and we just get so detailed, you know, so decision collision, I call it.
Yeah.
And we don't even move forward. And it sounds like you didn't get bogged down with all of that.
No, it was just something I never really doubted.
Wow.
The idea of it, I never really doubted that this could work, that it would work, and I just knew, okay, I got to get to the point where I can sell these. Took longer than I wanted.
Okay.
And, you know, it was that whole aspect of it was very, probably the only frustrating part of the whole thing was the actual learning how to sew part. But, yeah, it was just a matter of, and I was fortunate enough to have my other direct sales business that was established. I've now been in that for over 9 years. So when it came time to get it out, I had a set-up network already.
So you had people then to say, hey, I've got this sample, and I'm trying to figure out how to work it. Would you try it on? I mean, so you have a ready-made.
Well, what I did is I used my sister as my first model.
Okay, good old family members.
Good old family member. I said, Lisa, try this on. And I just kind of made one what I thought would approximately fit her, not knowing one way or the other. And she put it on, and we kind of worked it to have that one fit her, and then I cut it down to what I thought my size was. And then I had a couple other sizes that I needed to fit, so I just put it out into our community on our wonderful Yahoo group that we have and asked for models that were these different sizes. And that, again, one thing leading into another, I had a woman come as my extra large model, and the one that I had made, she was a 36G, and it was too tight. It didn't come up high enough on her. She was a full size.
Okay, so that's the full cup.
The full cup.
Okay.
So I said, and I remembered when my sister tried on my first one, she had said, you know, it kind of fits, but if I had a larger chest, it would fit me better. So I got out my initial prototype and gave it to the woman and said, try this on. Fit her perfectly.
Wow.
So then I thought, okay, well, you know, not everybody is built like me. There are women, and those are the women that need the coverage. And this woman told me, she said, if you made this in my size, I would buy them. And I know a lot of other women would, because we have that problem all the time.
Excellent.
So that led into a full line. So I have a regular line and a full line.
Wow. Okay, we're about to take a break. When we come back, I want to dig more into how it feels and how it felt to go through this process, and a little bit more about the support network that you have to help keep you going, because I know sometimes we hit the implementation, and then we hear the, oh, that won't work, and the naysayers, and you have to kind of get yourself out of that. So with that, we'll be right back.
I present to you Algebra 2. And finally, biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Hello, welcome back to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host. And today we are talking about taking an idea from in your head to actually to market and on the shelf, sort of literally, figuratively speaking. My guest today is Amy Wert, and Amy is founder, owner, whatever, of A Little Pop of Color. Amy, welcome back.
Thank you.
And you have developed a product from concept to you're selling them. And we talked about your process, sort of what you went through. I want to dig a little more into the feelings, because to take something, I guess, from scratch is kind of scary, I would think, and probably even scarier for somebody who's thinking of quitting what they do and starting something like even their own business, but without product even. Right. So just kind of, what are some of the feelings you went through all along the way? Because it must have gone up and down. And
yeah, well, it was very daunting. I got that first shipment of fabric and thread, and I'm still learning how to sew, and it's like, wow, and I would get to the point, like I said, initially it had a V-neck, a U-neck, and I would get 3/4 of the way done, and then I'd go cook it, and I'd have to rip all of that out, and I'd be like, why did I start an apparel company when I don't know how to sew? That was the frustrating part, but I am fortunate that I have an incredibly supportive family. I told my husband I wanted to do this, and he said, okay.
Great.
And I said, I'm going to have to buy 2 sewing machines and buy all kinds of fabric and turn the family room into a sewing room. He said, okay.
Wow.
And so that's, I'm not sure if I could have done it without the just total support of him. And
you have a supportive community, because you said you put it out there on the internet, on the local exchange, and people.
Yeah. And I got models that came over
Great.
and helped me with that. And then actually, when I launched it, I had an open house, and I, again, put that out there on the Yahoo group to invite everybody to come and see the launch of my new product. And I had a woman who I did not know just email me back and say, do you need some help? Her kids were all going to be in school, and she was afraid she'd be bored, was just looking for something a little to do. So she comes and helps me with the more tedious aspects of it, the cutting the fabric and all of that stuff. And so I've just had nothing but support and nothing but positive feedback from it. When I start to think, the first thing everybody says to me is, oh, you got to go on Shark Tank. And those kind of things get me a little scared. But at this point, I'm just kind of just starting. And but it really is to have an actual product in your hand when you know where you started, and then you do sew it straight, and it comes out and it looks really pretty, and you put it on, and you go to a vendor show, and people buy it, and they're like, this is a great idea, and they're so excited, and oh, I have that dress that I really can't ever wear because it's too low, and this is exactly what I needed. And it really is. It makes you very proud.
Now, today, in this day and age, social media, and you already talked about having a website that was interactive. Are you in that works for that now, or?
I am not at that point yet.
Okay.
Because I just rolled this out in August. I don't have an interactive website yet. I do have a website, but I can't take orders through that yet. But I do, have everything on there for people to see, and eventually, I will.
I think that lesson is important too, because a lot of times we wait for everything to be perfect, and you haven't waited for that. You've gone. In fact, a lot of times we know we have to do. You should do a business plan. I'll say should, because I'm kind of sorely lacking in that area too. But but a lot of times we spend a lot of time on this long, drawn-out business plan, and that delays implementation. Right. Do you have a business plan?
I am in the process of making that, and actually, again, it's just one thing falls into place with another. The woman who helps me make the camis, her husband is going to school for business.
Oh, my goodness.
And is using my company as an example of a company that he starts, help write a business plan for, and take the company through. So I have sat down with him and worked at it and started writing it.
Oh, man. Great.
So it's...
And if you didn't have that readily available, you already put the call out on the social media, so probably could have put that call out some more. And there's always bartering, there's exchanging services when your budget doesn't handle all that yet. Do you have a sense of the next step in terms of growing? Because sometimes we grow too fast, and then that sabotages it.
Right. Well, I'm very adamant that I want a quality product. I don't want to put something out there that isn't good My other direct sales company has taught me a lot about customer service, and so I have actually been calling everybody who's bought them to see how they like them, get feedback for it.
Okay.
I think the next step would be to move into some private boutiques and smaller boutiques and go to them before I go to the big retailers, because at that point I'd have to go into a manufacturer
Right.
and go that route. Not quite there yet. That's the kind of thing that sets me back, but I can handle doing the trade shows, doing the vendor shows, and moving into boutiques and taking, that amount of orders at this point.
Let's show. You had a couple of them with you.
do.
Let's show, folks, what you mean by it.
Well, I have one on, and I actually have 18
Wow.
colors and patterns, different ones. So I have 10 colors,
Probably
and what we
hold it
have,
up.
this is just black.
Okay. Higher, a little
so
higher.
This is,
There you go.
there we go.
There you go.
so as you see, we have the clear straps, and the elastic in the front keeps it down and keeps it from riding up, and then
That's
this
the
is our,
nude back.
This is our light nude
Okay.
back, right?
Okay. Okay.
And
Those
so
are clear straps, too.
Those are clear straps.
Wow.
And then we also have our more fun ones, as I like to say.
Okay, a little
and it
bit.
really is just a way for people to show their personality.
Cool.
With a little bit. I had personally 5 V-neck black shirts. And when I was working outside the home, I would have loved to have a way to just expand and enhance my wardrobe without having to keep buying new shirts.
Okay.
And very affordably. And I could take that same black shirt and,
Add a little pop of color.
wear some sparkle one day. But if I was going to an event that was a little more subdued, I could wear black, or I could wear white, or just even a pink or something a little more subdued, depending on my mood.
Wow. Okay, all these things sound so positive. A couple of discouragements and how you get past that.
Well, the discouragement, and one thing I would have done differently if I was very impatient. I really wanted this to do it. And I, looking back, I really wish I had educated myself more about apparel and fabric in particular.
Okay.
The fabric aspect of it and what I wanted my materials to be.
Okay.
What I knew how to use and what not to use. Again, being a stay-at-home mom, financially, I didn't have an excessive amount of money to just pour into the business, and so a lot of money was wasted on buying fabrics that weren't going to work and wasn't really exactly what I wanted. But again, I learned well from that and what to do. Do it once, don't do it again. And just the learning process.
Okay.
It can be frustrating and wanting to have it now.
Yep.
And it's not quite ready.
Yep.
And I actually went to one vendor fair last spring and was thinking about, do I want to bring my camis? I did it from my other company. And I thought, no, they're really not ready.
Okay.
And there happened to be another half cami company there that I had never heard of, have never heard of since. But it actually confirmed for me that mine was what I wanted, because it had everything that I didn't want my camis to have.
Excellent. So you find out about your competition.
So, right. And people do say, I do have the people that say, oh yeah, I see, I can get the cheap ones that just go on your bra, or there's other companies out there that do that. Well, I understand that. I know I'm not the only one that makes a half cami. There's a million blue jean companies out there,
That's
and
true.
everybody makes different blue jeans, and there's a million shirt companies out there, and everybody makes different shirts. I think mine has some aspects of it that set it apart. I've never found one that has clear straps. I've never seen one that has a nude back, or the elastic in the front and the smooth back. So mine is different.
Wow.
And, so I just kind of take it as I really just believe in my product.
Great. And it comes through. I mean, when you talk about it, it comes through. I've seen you talk about it in other venues, and I mean, there's excitement there, as opposed to your other business, which is, it's a business.
It's a business, and I love it.
There's excitement.
And I do love it, and it's been wonderful for me, and it's been wonderful to have that while I've been getting this business going.
So, okay, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's thinking about it, who's got an idea in their head, and they're thinking about, I want to make this product happen, or at least in the same vein as you? What kinds of things do you say? Okay, make sure you fill in the blank. Don't quit your day job.
Don't quit your day job. That is the first thing. And I would say I'm really glad that I got a good sense of what I wanted the final product to be first, then went back to, okay, here's what I know I want to get to. And that may come from my social work background. In therapy, you have a goal. And then you go back and you set up your treatment plan with step A, step B, step C. So it's kind of that sort of thing. Know what you want to have and have a clear idea of that. Then you can figure out how you're going to get there.
Okay, because then I would think it helps you know if I'm headed this way. No, that's not what I want, and it gets you back on path.
Right, and with the understanding that things may change.
Yeah.
Again, this was going to be V-neck or scoop neck and have different options that way, and I realized pretty quickly that that wasn't going to work. So you have to be willing to change your vision some, but have a general formed idea of what you want.
Okay. And we've only got a couple minutes left, so tell us how we get the camis and what all configurations you handle and all of that.
Well, I have sizes extra small to extra large, and all of those sizes again in a full version. So, and the full sizes really are for women who are a D cup and over.
Okay.
So all of them are machine washable, which is my favorite aspect of it, and they all do have Lycra in them, so they can fit a wide variety of shapes and sizes.
Okay.
I have a website, which is www.alittlepopofcolor.com.
Perfect.
My email is alittlepopofcolor@gmail.com. So, and well, you can just, all my contact information is on the website.
And they can
Facebook
contact
page
you
as well.
They order it by reaching you.
They order it through me right now, directly,
And you appear at local events?
Yep. You can usually find me at craft shows. Try to do everything. When I rolled it out, I pretty much just get a table for my other business and a cami table, and that's kind of helped me build up where I am. So anybody who wants me to come to their house and have a girls' try-on day, we can do it.
That's true. That's another marketing vehicle. Just like, let's say, the kitchen products that one can get. You can go to the home. And, I forgot the last thing I wanted to ask you other than, well, I'll ask you for any last words that you want to give people for final advice before we end on getting their ideas started. Just do it.
Just do it, really. Just if it's something you strongly believe in, I think you really have to believe in it strongly, because otherwise, then the people that say, "Oh, that already exists" or "That'll never work," then that will get to you. But I think if you really believe in what you're doing and have a strong sense of this is what should happen.
Perfect.
Then.
Perfect advice, Amy. Thank you so much for being on the show. All right, and so that should be encouragement for you. Whether you're sitting there doodling at work about, I always wanted to do something, or whether you just see a need and go, I can do that. Great motivation for getting your ideas to reality. And so, thank you for joining us today and watching Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. Make a great day.